Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks-White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. Well, Louisiana now has representatives for all 6 of its congressional districts. Voters elected Troy Carter, a Democrat from New Orleans, to serve the 2nd District of Louisiana in the United States House of Representatives. That district stretches from Baton Rouge to New Orleans along the Mississippi River, a vital part of Louisiana's infrastructure and the nation's exports. Also plentiful in this district are rich fields of sugarcane that stretch from Iberville to St. Charles Parish. Carter joins Congresswoman Julia Letlow of Louisiana's 5th District to complete the state's delegation. As the congressman-elect is busy building his team and transitioning from his work in the state Senate to the U.S. House of Representatives, leaders from within Louisiana Farm Bureau say they look forward to working with Carter in this new role to continue to make Louisiana stronger. Carter defeated Karen Carter Peterson in the April 24th runoff with 55% of the votes. There are nearly 50,000 teachers in Louisiana. However, only one can be the 2021 Louisiana Farm Bureau Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year. Twila's Avery Davidson takes us to Natchitoches, where school gardens and literature come together to help elementary school children grow vegetables and knowledge.
Let's see if we can find a good one to pick.
Lisa Wiggins is really out of her element in the garden at Northwestern State University Elementary Lab School.
Yay! We got a good carrot!
It may not seem like it the way students react to the garden Wiggins started, but where you would expect to find Wiggins is here, surrounded by books in the school library. You see, Wiggins is the librarian and is quick to point out that her husband thinks, well, she's not a great gardener. And that's just fine with her.
And I'm learning just along with the kids. A lot of the stuff that they're learning I didn't know before either. So we're applying a lot of our research into discovering new things. So I feel like I'm a student just along with them. So we're all growing together.
We're like putting different books in the garden.
Right now, the garden is a literacy garden where each bed is connected to a book. Even the very hungry caterpillar is welcome here. It's one of the many ways Wiggins teaches agriculture to every single student in the school.
So I have all 300 students, and I have them, if they start in kindergarten, I have them from kindergarten up to 5th grade. So each grade level, we kind of focus on a different aspect, like the soil or the pollinators and the victory gardens. And so in the course of 6 years, it's really neat to see their agricultural literacy starting to when they leave. I mean, they're very knowledgeable about all things in the garden.
She is bringing the library to life out here with these literacy beds in her garden. So they are living those stories that they read.
Linda Danos is the Louisiana Farm Bureau Ag in the Classroom coordinator. She says it's evident the students retain Wiggins' lessons by what they've learned.
Wait patiently. Like, it takes a little bit for it to grow. You have to water it every day. You have to water your plants every day. You have to keep it in the sun a lot, and it has to have a good amount of water.
This is our model of the aquaponics garden.
Back in the library, the aquaponics garden proved to be a real challenge. That's because there are not many books about the system using fish and circulated water to grow plants without soil. So Wiggins had the students write their own book, Plant Wars.
We're like Star Wars, but it's like with seeds and plants. Yeah.
I think this is going to be a bestseller. We've all agreed this is going to be a bestseller because a long time ago in a garden far, far away, a problem was growing. Plants all around could not find space to grow as Darth soil multiplied weeds with every strike of his mighty sword. Dun, dun, dun.
A familiar storyline for an unfamiliar subject, but Wiggins may be familiar to some of you. She was the Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year 10 years ago, and she's won it again.
We allow a teacher to reapply if they've previously won, but only after 10 years. And only if their project is different or has grown or expanded. And obviously, Mrs. Wiggins here has expanded.
And to know about how much it's grown, you have to look here. There's an outdoor classroom paid for with grants Wiggins obtained, a greenhouse for aquaponics, and a garden for each grade at the school. Wiggins says being named the 2021 Louisiana Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year a second time really means a lot to her.
It means even more this time around because I've grown to appreciate and respect this organization and all that they do for everyone, and the generosity and the wealth of resources. and how they really are trying to promote and support the teachers, because teaching's not easy, and they're pulled at all different directions. But the Ag in the Class has been a gold mine for me and a treasure, and through the years I've just grown to love and appreciate it more. So this time around I'm more excited than ever. So just to be associated with Ag in the Class and to be recognized as one of their outstanding teachers is quite an honor.
For being named the Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year, Wiggins receives an iPad, a check for $500, and an all-expense-paid trip to the National Ag in the Classroom Conference, June 28th through July 1st in Des Moines, Iowa. Again, congratulations to Ms. Wiggins, and thank you for making agriculture an integral part of your library. Last week was Earth Day, but for farmers and ranchers, every day is Earth Day. This week, Neil Melanson takes us to Vermilion Parish, where one farmer is providing food for people and habitat for birds every single day.
You can hear it in their voices. Birds love this land. From the red-winged blackbirds on crawfish traps to the spoonbills to the egrets, anhingas, and more, this 2,000-acre tract near Kaplan is alive with wildlife and possibilities. It's a public-private partnership brainchild of Chad Hanks, who is farming rice, crawfish, and now birds.
We're looking at this farm as creating a habitat for not only migratory waterfowl, but also shorebirds, and seeing that there's production, grains, water, all of those things working within RCS. I think we have a bright future to see this becoming a showcase for the state of Louisiana as far as what we can do with pump-off ground that may be being abandoned.
Much of this land was once rice farms, but hard times have forced many out of business in this area. Keeping them as part of the food chain for both people and wildlife is vital to this area, according to area conservationist Kayla Hebert.
To hold the water for the migratory bird and shorebirds, and just create a habitat for the waterfowl out here. And as you can see, it's working, you know.
The key to this land is water. Hanks has a series of pumps that he's putting in and paid to have electricity run to them. Keeping water on the land is a vital part of bird conservation.
We've got some plantings and some other vegetative work that we're able to provide some cost share with, early successional habitat management, which I think Chad has done some of that out here as well. So different type of wildlife management, but really the key is finding landowners that are willing and able to do some of the management to provide habitat.
Even after all this time, he's excited about seeing what Hanks calls his ducks. Even more important, he wants to see them around for the next generation.
It's been an enjoyment for me. You know, when you have an opportunity to let your grandson kill his first deer, it's a 9-point marsh deer, and everybody says they don't grow that big down here. My key is to try to give them the habitat and the nutrition that we can have quality animals all around us, including the alligators that you have seen as we have walked. No, we hadn't walked, we drove through, thank goodness.
More funding from programs like the one Chad Hanks used are available from both state and federal efforts. To find out more, please visit our website at twilatv.org. And Kristen, this was a really great shoot. It was a beautiful day that day, and to go out, and as you can see, I mean, it's just lush and green out there. The thing that it was hard to really capture, you can hear it a little bit, is the amount of bird song that's going on out there. I mean, it was just a constant amount of various calls from various different birds. And the other thing, for not being duck season, there were a whole lot of ducks on that property.
I was about to say the other day when we were looking at land and soybean field, there were a lot of ducks. A lot of ducks. And birds just flock to those fields with rice, especially if he's growing rice. And
yeah, and he's really growing the rice for the birds. And the one of the big things that he does, I think as you see in the story, is he keeps the water on just a little longer, and that attracts all those migratory wildfowl. And in talking with Troy Malik, the state wildlife biologist, he said places like this, that he's got 2,000 acres there, can help the wildlife populations all around the state, you know, and all around, at least in that area especially. So even that one particular area is doing a lot for all those birds.
Great news, and that's a great story. Thank you so much, Neil Melanson. Well, Louisiana 4-H held its annual state shooting sports event, and more than 650 youth participated in events ranging from archery to skeet. With a shot at nationals on the line, the competition was fierce, but as Twila's Craig Gotro shows us, everyone enjoyed the opportunity to test out their skills.
Neither rain or lightning could slow down the Louisiana 4-H state shooting sports competition. On this day, the competitors were competing in air rifles. Nearly 2,000 4-Hers compete in shooting sports, and with a program this big, it takes an army of volunteers to make it run smoothly.
We wouldn't have a program in Bossier Parish if we didn't have those 34 volunteers, and there's no way a 4-H agent could devote even that much more time. So they're invaluable to the shooting sports program.
Jody Daigle is one of those volunteers. He started volunteering when his son started competing. While competition is a key component, Daigle believes the safety element is one of the biggest takeaways.
If they just come out and shoot with us for 1 year and get their allocated hours in, I feel safe knowing that they know the safe and proper way to handle firearms and be safe with them.
Abby Poirier is a shooting sports ambassador and has been shooting since the 3rd grade. Her older siblings helped draw her to it, and she enjoys doing it with her family.
It's really fun. It's family friendly, you know, because I get to travel around with my family. We meet new people from across the state. You learn so many things about being patient and your breathing.
Danielle Collins is also an ambassador. She says the best way to recruit new members is not telling them about it, but showing them.
You have to get them out there and get hands-on with them so that way they can see exactly what they're getting into. But you also have to make them realize this is a commitment. This isn't just a part-time sport.
Louisiana is the reigning national champion and is scheduled to defend the title this June. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gotro reporting.
The national competition will be held in Grand Island, Nebraska, and is expected to draw some of the nation's best young shooters. Well, forestry is one of the top industries for our state, providing nearly 52,000 jobs in Louisiana. So needless to say, we appreciate our trees and all they provide for us. We found someone in Gross-Tet who has a real passion for Louisiana trees, especially old cypress found in the swamp. Twila's Jennifer Finley went to visit with the man fondly known as the Atchafalaya Ambassador.
This is my little village I built. Over the years, I've tore down many old cypress buildings, barns, chicken houses, and put some of the wood to use like you'll see today. Take a lot of pride in the old cypress. This is the old growth cypress like you see Peckett cypress. I do use other things, but that's my love, is the old growth cypress. This is one of my first buildings I built as a shed. And over the years, it turned into my woodwork shop, and now you'll see I put a bunch of my crafts in here. I saw this in the magazine, yard dice. So I made a set for my grandkids. This is another piece I made for one of my wife's friends, but this is out of one piece of cypress. So it was a nice big tree, nice wide piece of old growth cypress. All this cypress is out of old barns and old houses I've tore down out of many years. First one I think was a chicken house. Some of my prettiest wood I ever got is red cypress out of a chicken house. That's the cream of the crop right here. This is an old house. It was probably, they tell me the trees could have been 400, 500, 600 years old, minimum. Then it was a house for probably 150 years, 100 years at least. Then I tore it down, so it's some old wood, antique wood, and lasts forever. This one here was, my in-laws had a fish market in Rosedale, Louisiana. And that's why I know these green boards. I went by boat on Bayou Gross-Tet and took the rest of the fish market down. It was falling in the bayou, and I created this little shed with it out of old growth cypress again. Love these old green boards. And here's some of the remnants, and I turn them into some things. Some are fish, some are ducks, some could be whatever you want it to be. And then some of the fish, I do very little to them. They already have a shape made. Just maybe give them a body part, turn them into a fish or something, put an eye on them. Beautiful stuff. Try to make walking sticks, clean them up a little bit. Got to take the bark off so the bugs don't get under it, and then I put mineral oil on them. My imagination runs wild just standing here looking at the resources. I was a telephone man for quite a long time. I was a linesman, love wire, so over the years collecting wire, old copper wire, very nice. And it's right at our fingertips, that's the good part. When I think I'm running low, I just got to launch a boat and go back in the swamp and look around, driftwood for days. And I feel like it's going to waste out there, so I try to bring a little bit of it home every time I go. My family came from Bayou Chene, which was in the heart of the Chapala Basin. That's where my dad was born, on a houseboat. My grandmother and all was born and raised. And people moved out like in the 50s or 60s, no way to stay out there and make a living. So I tried to model from the stories I always heard of the villages out there in the swamp. So I tried to turn these old buildings into that type of village. I have a great time every day. I really do. I'm very blessed to do what I want to do every day. Life is great. And it's pretty simple if you stop and think about it. You know, none of this costs money. It just takes a little affection for what you're doing, you know, and I love it. It's a passion. This is the old growth cypress from the old houses I tore down, the bead board. And if you see paint on it, I've never painted a board. That's old paint. Mostly I do it for tourism, just to show. I'm not real crazy about seeing how much I can sell. Never been about that. I just like making it. Look at that LSU bird house, made out of old cypress. And I love them because it lasts forever. So it makes me think I'm building a legacy, I guess. Making it out of great material. It'll be here long after I'm gone, hopefully. That's some of the driftwood from the old cypress out of the swamp. To me, this looks sort of like a elk or something, but it could be just whatever you could imagine. How about these little characters here? I was making all these fish. One day I said, well, I'm gonna try something different. So I turned my fish like this, and I started making little, I don't know what you call them. It's what just about everything was built with around here. In the old days, it was out of the old cypress. That's why I was able to get so much when the buildings started getting dilapidated or whatever, they wanted to come down. I was glad to take them down. I sure do love what I do. I always did love what I do. I always worked hard and loved it. Now I don't work so hard and I really love it now. I get to do what I want to do every day and share it with people. So it's a wonderful thing. Really a wonderful thing.
The bald cypress was designated Louisiana's official state tree more than 50 years ago. It was chosen by fourth graders at Jefferson Terrace Elementary School in Baton Rouge. They selected the bald cypress because of its beauty and impact on Louisiana's history. The students, led by their teacher, Miss Juanita Summers, petitioned the Louisiana legislature to add bald cypress as Louisiana's official state tree, and that bill was drafted and passed in 1963. There's some handy trivia to hold on to in case you ever needed Louisiana Jeopardy. Still to come on Twila, crawfish and karaoke in Northeast Louisiana. Sounds like a pretty good time to me. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Gert Hawkins. I'm a director with Louisiana Land Bank. Louisiana Land Bank employees really take care and cater to their stockholders. They put people and relationships first. I grew up in a farming family, and the majority of the employees with Louisiana Land Bank come from a farming background as well. They really understand the needs of a farmer. I know if I need help, I can get a person on the phone. If you're thinking about purchasing land, call Louisiana Land Bank.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
A big part of the aquaculture industry in Louisiana is crawfish. That's why you hear us talk about it every week here on the show. As Twila Tammy Arnder shows us, the mud bugs are not just a cash crop. They're essential to the Louisiana experience and culture.
Food and music are so much a part of the Louisiana way of life, songs have been written about it. And here at Riverside, Coney Island, and Monroe, the two definitely go hand in hand.
Downright the most hospitality, down home, welcoming place you've ever been. It is amazing. The crawfish is good, the food's good, the beer is excellent.
Tom Hardy has been serving up crawfish at Riverside since 1990, bringing that South Louisiana tradition further north. Hardy makes a 3-hour trek to Church Point, Louisiana each week during season to pick up his mud bugs straight from the farmer.
Get ours from the farmer. We miss the middleman. We go directly there. I know when I get my crawfish, they're swimming today.
So he cleans them, then they head straight for a swim in the hot tub.
Perfectly done.
He has a team of boiling baristas, although they're serving crawfish instead of caffeine. For Hardy, the recipe isn't just about cayenne pepper. He has his unique seasonings that he puts in what he calls muddy river water.
Yeah, we wash them down with the muddy river water, the special blend.
As fast as he can prepare them, they're put on platters and placed on picnic tables, ready to be peeled and plucked from their shells. And while peeling them is considered a life skill in Louisiana and often intimidating to those who live outside the borders of the Bayou State, most say they are worth the trouble.
Oh yes, crawfish are great. At least three times a week during season, at least.
While the crawfish are the crowd pleasers, the music can be as big a side dish as the potatoes and corn. And when all put together, it's the quintessential. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Tammy Arender.
Hardy says this year got off to a slow start because of the cold weather, but the size of the crawfish are really starting to pick up, so that's good news. Well, since Tammy took us to Monroe for her story, let's take a look at where you can get some mud bugs there. Crawfish City of West Monroe has them for $3.50 a pound live, and boiled are right at $4.99 a pound. Slidell has crawfish for cheap right now. Pearl Seafood Market has them for $1.99 a pound live, and boiled are $2.99 per pound. And in Natchitoches, the appropriately named Natchitoches crawfish has them for $1.99 live and $4 for boiled. Remember to always check your local crawfish hole for the prices and deals by phone, social media, or the crawfish app. These crawfish prices are brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, which reminds you to always eat Louisiana crawfish and to make sure you ask before you eat. Still to come on Twila, who doesn't love some funny farm animals? Well, we'll show you some of our favorites in this week's Twila Boost. Stay with us.
It's a well-known fact that here in Louisiana, sugarcane is more than just a crop. It's a way of life. It creates more than 16,000 jobs across the state and an additional $3 billion boost to our state's economy. And Louisiana's cane families always give back to the communities where we live, work, and play. Louisiana sugarcane, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program. And you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
That's low, that's low. That's low and below the top. Seriously.
As always, we're ending the show with a Twila boost to brighten your day and hopefully leave you with a smile. If you have farm animals, you already know that they can be very entertaining creatures. And if you're like me, nothing brings a better laugh than a video featuring some of the most comical farm animal bloopers on the internet. See, I told you that would bring a smile to your face. Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when we'll show you a great way to celebrate the mothers in your life. Hint, hint, the answer is Louisiana crawfish. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to us and turn on the notifications so you know exactly when we put out new content. For all of us here at Twila, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.